So I love them. I love them. I love them. But I try not to do a ton of them because I know you guys would rather connect with me in real time, face to face, face to face. However, it is really, really, really late. I can't sleep, and because I am already snuggled up in bed in my PJs, cozy, under my blankets, with my pillows surrounding me, I didn't want to have to get up and, put on an acceptable top and make sure my hair looks good and put on jewelry and things like that. Things like that. Just to film, just to film, But my mic is never too far away. So all I did was kind of scooch it over and then decide to do this way. And I'm sorry if you don't like voiceovers, but to be quite honest, I am feeling quite lonely tonight. Tonight, which I recognize can be a feeling that a lot of people begin to experience around the holidays due to their different circumstances. The feeling of loneliness, though, is one that I feel often, no matter the time of year. I don't have anyone that I can talk to. Of course, I have people in my life that I love, such as my family, and the few friendships that I have. But even so, I still oftentimes feel lonely because I have spoken about how I have never quite fit in, right? I've always been the black sheep of the family. I was always the oddball out in school. And so, even though I am surrounded by people, I still feel very alone. And it's not for lack of trying in terms of the people in my life. Of course, they try to connect with me on some level, but I for what you truly are, which is ugly. Like just the way he says ugly, or Amanda says ugly. She doesn't say ugly, she's like ugly. I'm sorry, y'all, I can't stop laughing. Like that movie never fails to bring a smile to my face. If I need to laugh, I can put that movie on. And so, anyway, So like, don't think I'm creepy. Like, I'm helping you. I'm supporting you. Like, that's the word. I'm supporting you. But anyway, I do that with food. There was a point in my life when I was in high school. I ate chicken noodle soup every single lunch from like freshman year to junior year for 3 years. This is not a joke. This is not an exaggeration. My mom can tell you, but you can't ask her, but she can tell you if you could. I ate chicken noodle soup every single day as my lunchtime meal for 3 years. It's just, and then eventually I hyperfixated on something else, and I think I mentioned to you briefly in one of my older rambles that like I ate broccoli every single day for like 2 years straight, no cap. But I ate it so much that I got physically sick from it, and I had to stop eating broccoli for like 5 years. I couldn't even stand the smell of it because I had to like burn myself out on broccoli. But it's just a personality trait that I always find it so funny when people are like Geminis, because y'all know I'm a Gemini. They're like, Geminis are so flighty and fickle, and they have short attention spans, and they can't focus on anything for long, and they're not people that are like long-term people, and this and that. Like, everything they say about Geminis basically equals inconsistency, and like, I don't know how to put it into words, but just someone who is not capable of being around for the long haul, right? That is, for me, that is so incredibly false. Like, I'm a serial monogamist in relationships. I have like an intense obsessive personality, and I hyperfixate on things like crazy. So I'm very much not like, I see something one day I like it, and then the next I'm like, oh, screw this. Like, no. I'm very consistent with my interests, which leads me to be consistent with, like people in my life and things like that. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. The point is, we don't have to go down that astrology hole. But the point is that for whatever reason, for whatever that thing makes me feel, I hyperfixate on something, and then I'm just stuck there. Not stuck, like, I don't feel stuck. I don't feel like, oh, I just want to get out of this. I want to do something new or watch something different. I don't feel like that. I'm just using that word so you get what I'm saying. For lack of a better word, I just get stuck in that thing. So, call me crazy, call me weird, call me whatever. I always just say, instead of explaining to people the heights of my insanity, I always just say I'm a creature of habit. That's like the simplest thing I can say, and to get people to understand slightly, because that doesn't fully encompass it, but you get the gist with that phrase, right? I don't know if that means that I need to be like psychologically evaluated or not. Like, literally, legitimately, if there is anyone that resonates with anything I have just said, because you do the same thing, maybe not to the same extent, but you do the same thing, and you have been, I don't like saying the word diagnosed, but you have been labeled as something by a professional, right? Like by a therapist or a psychologist or whatever. Like, oh, you hyperfixate on things to this extent. You are XYZ. Please let me know. Because I know I have OCD, and so I just always attribute it to my OCD. Like, hyperfixation is a evaluated and they told you, yeah, babe, you've got this. Because I want to look it up. Not to like self